Welcome to Everything Flute. In this play-along video, we are breaking down Etude in E major by Gariboldi. This etude's fun because we're just going up and down the E scale, changing what note we start on, which might be a little tricky at first. We're changing the rhythmic patterns and the articulation patterns. And if you're not so comfortable on your E scale, this is the perfect etude to play because you are going to know it after this etude. Now, scherzando, what it says right under the first measure, that means play playful. So you get to play it in like a joking manner. And then the tempo marking, molto vivace, means very fast. Don't worry, we're not going to take it too fast here. In each section, we'll take it kind of on the slower side, and at the end, we'll speed it up a little bit. Let's first talk about measure 30. Measure 30 has a rhythm pattern that has eighth note, 2/16, eighth note, 2/16. However, this measure has two notes in a row that repeat, the D sharps. Nowhere else do two notes repeat in a row with this rhythmic pattern. And it seems to trip people up all the time. So really pay attention to measure 30 at first. Let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, let's talk about the measures leading up to measure 30. Measure 24 is where we start this rhythmic and articulation pattern of eighth note, 2/16. The eighth notes are staccato, the 16ths are slurred. Where measure 24 and 25 are just going up the E scale and then down the E scale. And then measure 26 and 27, they repeat the exact same idea. And again, it's just going down the E scale, up the E scale, down the E scale, up the E scale. The measure 28, we actually have the same notes as measure 24 and 25, just down an octave. Then we have this oddball measure in measure 30 with that repeated D sharp. And then measure 31, we're just going down the E scale again. And then measure 32, we have the exact same pattern that we started with in measure 24. So let's try this. We're going to go from measure 24 to 36. 1, 2, ready, go. The next four measures has little snippets of ideas. We have a beat and a half snippet that repeats up a step. And then we revisit the eighth note, 16th, eighth note idea, which, by the way, we'll have later in the piece too, near the end. And then we have chromatic scale. Just watch out, you need to make sure to really support to have a focused sound on the chromatic scale going up, especially since it's staccato. Let's try these four measures. 1, 2, ready, go. Now let's go back to the beginning of the piece and look at measure 1 through 8. I like to think of the 4/16 plus the 1/8 note together, because then that's just 5 notes going up or down the scale. And then the second eighth note either continues the scale or it does a little jump somewhere else. And then we repeat this at measure 17 to 23. Exact same thing. Well, part of 23. And then don't forget, measure 8, we have an E arpeggio. There's more than an octave skip between the low E and the G sharp on top of the staff. So really watch out for that and aim up to get that G sharp out compared to where we were for the low E. Let's play this. Measure 1 through 8. 1, 2, ready, go. Measure 9 through 16 keeps the same rhythmic pattern we had at the beginning. 4 16th notes, 2 8th notes. What changes is the melodic idea. So we start with a note. We repeat that note. We go down a half step, go back to the original note. Then we have a big skip, a skip of a fourth, and then down a step. And then the following measure is the same melodic idea, just up a step. The next measure, same idea, up a step. It's very similar to Etude in C major by Gariboldi. If you've played that, then this might look very familiar. Then we have that for basically 4 measure phrase. And then the next 4 measure phrase is the same idea, except we have a scale pattern going down into the beginning melody. Let's play this. 1, 2, ready, go. Measure 40 to 56 has a lot of downward motion. We're leading to the downbeats. So try to have your dynamics lead to the downbeats. E and a 1, E and a 1, E and a 1, and 1. Have fun with those accents. We're scherzando. Play around with them. It's playful. And then after that, we noodle around on the E scale basically. Measure 45 and 46 are the same thing, so that makes it a little easier to, oh yeah, I just played this again. And then the last measure of this first phrase is leading us back into the E and a 1, E and a 1, E and a 1, and 1. And then after that, we get to noodle around again and repeat 2 measures. And then we noodle all the way up to high E. Let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. Measure 56 to the end is a combination of different ideas we had throughout the piece. So measure 56 and 58 has the same idea that we had in measure 24. 2 16ths and then an eighth note. 2 16ths and then an eighth note. Measure 57 and 59, you're just going up a scale, down a scale. E scale. Just playing around with the E scale. And then after that, we go back to the 16th, 8th, 16th, 8th, 16th, 8th. And then the last 2.5 measures, we have the same idea we had in measure 9. Play your note, repeat it, down a half step, back to the original note. This time, instead of going up a step each time, we're actually outlining an E arpeggio. We start on the E, E, D sharp, E, and then we go to G sharp. And then the next pattern is starting on the B. And then of course we go to the high E and end on a middle E. Really watch out that you don't crack those E's. You need to support, make sure those lips are firm. 1, 2, ready, go. Now comes the best part, putting the whole piece together. We're gonna play through it 2 times. The first time, we're gonna keep a chilled tempo, kind of around the tempo that we played each section individually. And then the second time, we're gonna speed it up, make it more playful and joking and light. Scherzando. 1, 2, ready, go. Ready? Go. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then push the little bell so you get notifications when a new video comes out. And likes are always welcome. Thank you so much for watching Everything Flute and have a wonderful day. Bye.